From Gordon Cormier forgetting the most special scene in the entire Avatar, The Last Airbender live-action adaptation,
with visual effects, I can't even remember where I was.
I think Dallas Liu, who plays Zuko, seeing Appa for the first time without visual effects.
Appa were like, they were like, come check out Appa, and it was only his like right leg. I was like, okay, hey.
These are the unbelievable things that happened on set in Avatar, The Last Airbender. First up, we have the crazy story of Ian Ousley, who plays Sokka, about their very first day on set, where ATLA creator Michael Dante DiMartino tried to push him by making him do hundreds of push-ups just to shoot this single scene.
And Michael's like, do some push-ups, like you wouldn't really seem like you're out of breath. So I did like 150 push-ups that day, like trying to like get myself out of breath while we're like tumbling around and like, ugh.
Well, hundreds of push-ups every day are nothing compared to what Daniel Day Kim did to his body to perfectly portray our Fire Lord Ozai. And because of this massive chest and shoulders that are about to break the lucky bands on his arms, Dallas Liu, who plays Zuko, got extremely intimidated.
The responsibility.
You don't have to do this alone. You have me, Tara,
I love
and
that.
a flying ball
for.
What more do you need?
Listen, can you imagine what they look like while filming? I mean, there's no VFX while filming, so it's freaking hard to vividly imagine that they are bending water, fire, air, and earth. And did you ever wonder what Appa looks like without VFX? Well, you are not alone, because Ian Ousley did too.
It was awesome though, because then we got to write it, and they because obviously they're not gonna go like as hard as they possibly can like while shooting, but they like set me up. They were like, "Yo, we're gonna bring the stunt team out," and they like threw it as hard as they could.
He's kind of lucky. He saw Appa completely, because when Dallas Liu saw Appa for the first time on set, Appa is probably small like this.
My experience was almost the same with Appa, where like, they were like, come check out Appa, and it was only his like right leg. I was like, okay, hey.
And you won't believe what I'm going to tell you next, because the most hilarious things that happen on set are not from the actors, but from Keo-Wantio's father.
I want to say my dad, because he's not
Wait, that's a fact.
right?
Yeah, that's a fact,
No, because
actually.
every time we were filming, my dad's like exploring somewhere, and he's like, you know, taking pictures. He's seeing stuff that I'm not seeing.
Yep.
He'll come back and have all these cool stories, and I'm like, where,
He's
how,
dolphin.
when, you know?
Shout out Corey. I feel like.
But when it comes to Gordon Cormier, he didn't remember that they shot Aang's awakening from the ice.
Tell you the truth, with visual effects, I can't even remember where I was.
And of course, as the fun goes on while filming, Keo-Wantio, who plays Katara, thinks the most beautiful moment is the evolution of their connection as siblings.
For that, I feel like our relationship, even like all as cast, like you could see it bloom, you can see our chemistry get stronger, and so I do feel like our siblingness, it grows.
So now, we have a happy and perfect cast, and we're happy about the trailer so far. We are eagerly awaiting the release on February 22nd, 2024 to put our final verdict down. But did you know that Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't a smooth ride? Well, here's why. The original creator dilemma. In 2018, when Netflix decided to make a live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, they brought on Michael Dante DiMartino and Bryan Konietzko, the creators of the series, to make sure it stayed true to the original. And fans got pumped up. They became excited because they knew these two would keep the spirit of Avatar alive, especially after the disappointment of a previous movie attempt in 2010 by M. Night Shyamalan that didn't quite capture the magic of the animated series. However, bringing Avatar: The Last Airbender to life again wasn't smooth sailing. Even with the original creators on board and a lot of excitement, the project faced mountains of challenges. And one of them is the dark truth why Avatar creators left Netflix. In 2020, Michael Dante DiMartino and Bryan Konietzko decided to leave the project. They had been working on bringing the live-action adaptation to life for 2 years, but felt their vision wasn't being supported. See, Michael shared his thoughts in an open letter on his website. He explained that when they joined the Netflix project in 2018, they were promised that their ideas and vision would be respected. However, as time went on, it became clear that things weren't going as they planned. And Michael mentioned that leaving the project was a tough choice, but necessary for his happiness and creative integrity. He also noted that the Netflix adaptation could still be enjoyable for fans, but it wouldn't be the show they had originally planned to make, saying, And who knows? Netflix live-action adaptation of Avatar has the potential to be good. It might turn out to be a show many of you end up enjoying. But what I can be certain about is that whatever version ends up on the screen, it will not be what Brian and I had envisioned or intended to make. On the other hand, Brian Konietzko also shared his side of the story on Instagram. He was more direct about his feelings, stating that despite Netflix's initial promise to back their vision, the support didn't follow through, saying, "When Netflix brought me on board to run this series alongside Mike 2 years ago, they made a very public promise to support our vision. Unfortunately, there was no follow-through on that promise. Though I got to work with some great individuals, both on Netflix's side and our own small development team, the general handling of the project created what I felt was a negative and unsupportive environment." Brian highlighted that the problem wasn't about having control over anything, but about ensuring the series stayed true to the Avatar spirit. He and Michael felt they couldn't guide the show in the right direction, which led to their departure. Without its original creators, can Netflix deliver a show that stays true to the beloved Avatar, The Last Airbender animated series? Well, the casting and the trailer look like fire, and it looks like they did a pretty good job. For now, ATLA showrunner Albert Kim responds to original creators exiting the project. When Kim joined the Netflix Avatar The Last Airbender series, he was thrilled to work with the original creators Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. He said to IGN how excited he was to ask them all sorts of fan questions. However, when Michael and Brian decided to leave the project, Kim felt the impact of their departure. He reflected on whether the show could still honor the essence of what they had created, and ultimately, he believed it did. Moreover, Kim explained that moving forward without them didn't mean forgetting their contributions. Instead, he hoped to respect the spirit of the original Avatar in the new adaptation. Kim acknowledged the challenge of continuing without Michael and Brian, saying, "Having them leave was a blow, and we had to think about whether or not the vision that we had set forward really reflects and honors the spirit of what they had created." He continued, "And we felt like it did, so we went forward with it. But it's not to say that when they left, we said, forget everything they've done. That was never going to be the case, regardless of their involvement with the project. So I think that hopefully we honor, like I said, the spirit of the show that they originally created in the version we made." Kim also admitted to feeling a mix of excitement and fear, questioning whether it was possible to add anything new to a series already loved by many. "My first reaction after hell yeah was, holy shit, do I really want to do this? Is there a way to improve upon the original? Whenever you tackle something that's already beloved by millions of fans, you have to ask yourself those questions." During his talk with Entertainment Weekly, Kim highlighted that all of our writers are also fans of the original, so they drew upon their own personal experiences and the things that they love the best. He also said that the series will not start like the animation does. "We don't start the show the way the animated series starts. That was a conscious decision to show people that this is not an animated series. We had to sometimes unravel storylines and remix them in a new way to make sense for a serialized drama. So I'm very curious to see what'll happen in terms of reaction to that." And on top of that, Albert Kim mentioned some big changes to the story and themes to make it more appealing to an older audience. Albert Kim talked about these changes, mentioning how even his son, a big fan of the original series, had doubts about altering the show, saying, "My son, who is also a huge fan, was like, I don't know if you should do that, because he is in the contingent of fans that think you cannot improve upon the original. So he was a little wary." Kim also pointed out that Season 2 and 3 are a lot more mature in theme than, say, Season 1 was. So for us, it was about striking that right balance of making sure you were true to the DNA of the original. He continued, "But at the same time, we had to make it a serialized Netflix drama, which meant it couldn't just be for kids. It had to also appeal to the people who are big fans of Game of Thrones. And so it had to feel grounded and mature and adult in that way too." This kind of approach led to some fans feeling disappointed and fearing that the live-action series might not stay true to the spirit of the original Avatar, which expertly handled mature themes in a way accessible to younger audiences. Kim also dropped a bomb by revealing that the air nomad genocide will be seen in the live-action series, even though we didn't see it in the animated series. And to put it into his words, "We were actually going to show it as opposed to just talk about it in the original series. So we kind of trusted both in the performers and also in the audience, frankly, that they could handle this kind of material, even at a young age. So it was just a matter of being true to the story. And then later, we would just sort of turn the dials a little bit here and there. Kim's decision to show the aftermath of the Air Nomad genocide more directly than in the animated series has sparked debate among the fandom. While the original series allowed viewers to understand the gravity of the situation through the characters' reactions, some worry that showing these events directly might change the way the story feels.